Welcome everyone to a brand new episode. Today we have Teodoro. Teodoro, how are you?
Hi, Emmanuel. Thanks for the invitation and for this opportunity to talk with your audience.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you here. So let's start. As a seasoned HR professional with over 15 years across diverse sectors, can you give our listeners a brief overview on your journey and what drew you to the world of HR?
Sure. Well, first I want to say hello to all the audience, to say thanks for this opportunity. I think that it's really important for human resource professionals to work, to interact, and to have this kind of meeting podcast that you can share the best practice and also learn how the things are done, not just only in your country. Now I'm Mexico, but you can have best practice from USA, from Colombia, Chile, Europe, this part. I started working in 2006 in the human resource area. My first job was like a training in a recruitment and selection department. To be honest, when I started working, I defined this career to pay my degree. I need to pay some kind of degree, and I decided to start working in human resource because at the beginning I was not sure to be part of this amazing world. But why I was sure that I want to work something that be involved in my career. I'm a psychologist of profession. So in 2016, I started working in this part. And then my internship was just for 1.5 years. I started working in a call center, making all that process of recruitment. It was a really a big company that you need to bring around 20, 25 new employees each week. So it was really exciting. You need to handle correctly the pressure. And after that, during 2018 to 2012, I started working in a distributor company here in Mexico. And in this second part of my professional career, I started learning how amazing, how wonderful is this department, because in this company, I have a lot of departments: labor relation, recruitment and selection, payroll, benefits and compensation. And each leader of each department showed me how to work in that world, not just in the school, work in a real world when you have people that you need to make payments, do you need to be sure that the rules are followed by all the employees. So I start working in this company. And in 2012, I decided to quit and I go to Spain to get my first master, because in that moment, I want to continue my career more like a clinical psychologist. So I go to Spain, to Valencia. I take my first degree, that it's a degree focusing clinical and social psychologist. And then I returned to Mexico in 2014. And again, I start working in the part of human resource, because here in Mexico, when you are a young psychologist, you do not have a lot of clients, you do not have a lot of people that it's interesting in your private practice. So I start making this process of human resource, and I found that something that is really important in all the companies is the people that work here. You can have all the money, you can have good financial statements, you can be really innovating in your company, you can have the best product that every people want to buy, want to have in their house. But if you do not have the correct people in the correct place working correctly, you do not get anything. So in my return to Mexico, when I started working in an international company that was focusing on all the products that you can take care about personal care and in part of warehouse, I start finding that if you work with the people, if you create a correct strategy, if you create a correct process to involve the people and to understand what we need to do as employees so we can get better revenue and get a our money in our pocket, because at least we are employees, so we need to be in a good company with good results so we can grow, win to win. So in this part, I start working with my professional career of psychologist. I start working with the people, understand the needs, and start working with something that is really important for my point of view, that is the change. Change, everything in the world is a continuous change. So this was my first overview in my career.
Okay, that's great. So right now you're a senior HR manager at Shin Electric, and having held significant roles in companies like Sinclair Pharma or the other one I think was Bungie. What would you say that has been the most transformative phase in your HR career?
Well, it's it's a complicated question, because transfer in every part, because as human resource, you manage all the employees that are in the company, and you learn about all the employees. You learn uh, why they are working, you know about the life, you know how they change their professional career, how they reach different goals. But one of the most important things that I learned was when I was working in Bungie. This was a company of food and beverage, manufacturing food and beverage company. And when I started working there, was like a roller coaster. Why? Because the company started growing here in Mexico, because they started making some merchant acquisition. They started bringing some culture of United States, some culture of Mexico. So at the beginning was really complicated to define the correct strategy, because even we were the same company working in the same country, we have different way of talk, It was like you have different language. No matter that we have the same leader, different regions speak and get different kind of, of engagement to the company. So I remember perfectly that in that moment, I found one of my leaders was talking to us about the Shingo model, that this is a model that works in the manufacturing process. But when I understand and I hear in my mind, hey, Eureka, you found that one good strategy, one good methodology to reach the results, is because the Shingo model has the base about the culture, about the behavior. And what does human resource does? They work with the people. You create a culture in the company. You need that all the papers that you have in your company, the mission, the vision, the KPIs, the manuals, all this kind of stuff became real. So when I start learning about more the Shingo model, I understand that the first thing is you need to behave well. You need to have respect to all the people, but not only the people, to the company, to the process, to your own mindset. And the third one is that you need to create system, because when you have the culture, you get the tools that will support a system that will support the results, and all these three things are aligned with the guide principles that sometimes are the things that need to be part of the company. And in my other company, that was a pharmaceutical company, my general manager also showed me that human resource need to be the department that need to be friendly to all the departments, that you need to understand. You never will be the expert of marketing, the expert of sales, the expert of logistics, but you are the expert of talking with the people, and you need to show to the people why we need to do these kind of things and how we are going to do, and create just one general language. So human resource department, I think that the most difficult role that you have is to be a good leader, but not with the name of leader. You know, I mean, you need be a leader because you go with example, the rule that you put, you're the first one to do it. When you talk about create new policies, you need to go to the new policies. You need to understand your business. Sometimes human resource only think that you need to be in your place, hiring people, terminate people, making some kind of certification, and that is not something that need to be in 2024 true. You need to be involved more in the business. And I think that was one of my biggest transformation when I understand this model of Shingo.
Okay, that's a great insight in your career. So you're also a member of our club, which is called the HR Leaders of the Future, where we talk about different topics. So what's one topic or trend in HR that you believe that is a game changer for the future?
Well, in the immediate future, I think that it's all the EA, to all the artificial intelligence that we are having now in this moment. This is one of the most critical, important, and great change that we are going to have in the future because we need to explain to our company and to our employees that the artificial intelligence arrived and it's a reality. So many jobs, many activities will change. So what we need to do is not to fight against this. By the other hand, we need to be part of the solution. We need to start learning how to work with this, learning how we are going to update our job description, our activities, something that will be important because instead of saying that we are going to need less people, I think that we're going to need employees with a bigger preparation, employees that not only came from great universities. We need to find a mix between good scholarship, but good soft skills and also a continuous training. You know, when the companies start with this kind of revolution, I call that third revolution, the third industrial revolution, you have two options. One, be freeze and just complain about what it happened. And the second, grow with this part because you talk about ChatGPT, for example, that can help to the professional of human resource to create a job description more easy, to create a more easy process of recruitment and selection. And it's fine. Why we are having this fear of, oh no, a computer and artificial intelligence will be more efficient than me. No, it's a win to win. But what we are going to create people that work with a passion. Because if you talk with many of our colleagues of human resource, they have in their head count not so people that work with passion. They work because they need the money. They work because it's the only work that they have. But when we have this kind of new tools to work to solve, we can create this feeling of ownership in the company. And it's something that will create to you another skill that can grow for you. I always tell to my team, I'm going to show how I like to work. The first 3 months, I need that you follow my rules, you follow my KPIs, you follow my dashboard perfectly. In the month four, we're going to talk, and you need to show me what are the best improve that we need to do, what are the change that we need to do. And in the fifth month, this process will be changed, will be more mature because will be with your personal skills and your own signature. But the first 3 months, I need to show you how I reach this level. And it's not true. It's not only the things that you are going to have it. And the other thing that also will change in the future, it's about the process of the election, about you know that compensation and benefits for each employee need to be aligned with a correct strategy to support the revenue. And during 2024, will be elections in 70 countries. This represents that 51% of the world's population that are going to choose a new leader. With
Your
the new
future.
leader arrives new kind of works because arrive new policies, arrive new strategy for finance, for the PIB in the countries. So something that we need to also to be prepared and be a warning is how to change this compensation and benefits. And not all it's money, because if you always give money to the employee will want more money, and you will not have enough budget to give all the money that they want. And the other is not only give soft benefits or flexi benefits, because it's not just to buy a pizza or give a t-shirt. You need to find a correct strategy. And something that I like to do, I create my demographics. In each company that I have been working, pharmaceutical, manufacturing, distributor, no matter how, you need to capture demographics. And in your demographics, you need to understand your population, the age, the average age, the average between female and male. I'm not talking just in these two kind of genders. You go from the biggest picture to the small picture. Then you need to have also where the people in the diversity is select, you know. And with this part of things, you create your own strategy. You create the benefits that to your employees really need, because you can have a company that most of your employees have kids, are married. In another company that I used to work, they do not have kids, they have pets. So, for example, you need to find a correct insurance. Maybe you can find an insurance for pets that many companies start giving this kind of support, or continue with a traditional insurance. So when we talk about compensation and benefits, you need to understand all the picture, all the demographic that exists in your company, but also looking for who it's going to arrive to your company, because a young talent, it's also looking to have to be in a company that when they say that they are, for example, friendly with the environment, is that it's true, not just in your website says that kind of things. So I think that these are the two biggest change in the future that we are going to have like human resource.
All right. So you have worked across various industrial sectors, from milling to pharmaceuticals. So how have you seen HR practices evolve across these industries, and what unique challenges did each present?
Mm. Well, each company has um, his own milestone, you know. Um, Most of my companies that I have been working are companies related in business to business. So these kind of companies have a particular process that it's a continuous stress and a continuous improvement. So I want to start with a challenge. For example, training and development. The companies that their core business is selling, it's really difficult to develop that strategy of training. And I mean, not that terms of budget of training hours or topics that we're going to give to the employees. Is more related how I create a strategic that can support to the sales people, because I cannot take the sales guy from the street for the client from 8, 16 or 4 hours, because for the seller, his mindset, her mindset always is, I need to sell, I need to be in touch with my client, I need to understand what is the need that they have. So I can create a really big training, a really big training program, but at the end it will not be successful because the people will not be engaged in this part. So we need to create the culture, we need to create the understanding of how I can give to the employees the correct training. Talking about the salespeople. Another example could be, for example, the working hours. Companies that their core business is focused on the manufacturing process, that they need to work 24 between 7. I mean, they work all the week at all time. In this case, the stopper that I found was we have low headcount, we have overtime expensive, that this means that it's equal in a bigger payroll. Then we have problem of absence because the people get tired and they need to rest and their family requires more time. Also, we get safety actions because the people it's so tired that they forget what they are doing. And the company get more scrap because they need to continue working and working and working and working. So we need to support a correct shift strategy. And when I say the correct shift strategy is think out of the box. It's not only talking about 3 shifts. In one of my experience, I create 6 shifts. So with 6 shifts, I can prepare all the process of the manufacturing activities, of the production, of the quality, of the safety, so we can reach the process with less people and with less money to pay during the payroll. Because what I do is when I have all my pieces of the headcount, I talk with the general manager, I talk with all the board, how can we change this kind of people, where we can put it, and also with the money that we start saving with the overpay, we can start working with a continuous process with better machines, better computer programs. This kind of are things that we are going to found. And another problem that I used to found, it's a recruitment. When you work in a pharmaceutical companies, and it's just an example because pharmaceutical companies are really big, has a huge history in all the world, but the bigger problem is that they want to bring the talent from their main competitor, no matter that they have the same position. Sometimes they only want to bring the same talent in the same position, not to give another promotion, just to avoid some kind of problems during that training and on the onboarding process. When you define to go with this process, the biggest problem that you can find is that you will have problems with your salary bands because you're going to have people in the same band but with different salaries because you need to waste more money to bring that talent of the competitor instead of improve money to create a correct training process to bring that young talent that also our competitors has, but you need also to give some kind of training. So the recruitment process is another problem that sometimes you found in this kind of companies.
All right. So you have such a diverse background. Can you share a standout moment or even learning experience from one sector that you apply successfully in another?
Sure. The quality system. All the things that you cannot measure, you cannot improve. When I used to work in the manufacturing company, I have a quality system, not directly to human resource, was directly to the company, because we need to get some certification, like certification kosher, like FCC, certification of some clients like PepsiCo, Mondelez, Little Caesars, And when you receive an audit, all the departments that are involved in the company or that exist in the company need to be part of this audit. Nowadays, the human resource department start to become one of the most critical for this audit. It's true that they do not request for us many things. Maybe they only ask to us 1, 2, 3 topics. Our audit is just for half an hour or just 1 hour. But the information that we need to show need to be aligned to the quality system. You need to show that your recruitment process it's aligned to a quality system, and you need to show and to be how your recruitment process is engaged with the people that it's arriving to their company, how it's engaged in your post that you posted put in LinkedIn. And also, you need to show that your training program is also aligned on time, that you are giving trainings and you are giving to the people a level up for each topic, and know that you show only the first topic or you only take the same topic day by day. So when I understand how to work with a quality system, that it's really complicated because you need to be aligned with all the people. As I mentioned at the beginning, you need to have respect to the owners of each department. So you need to understand how marketing strategy is going on, how finance strategy for this year need to be support, and you start creating your quality system of human resource with these people. And now in my actual job, that this company of energy just arrived in Mexico around 4 years, but 2 years was during the pandemic years. I'm creating my department of human resource. I'm creating the area of communication, the area of recruitment, the area of benefits and compensation. And since the beginning, I'm creating with that quality system. I try also to explain to the people how it's really important to have the process of quality that take to us to the continuous improvement. And when you get this, you get that operational excellence. And this is what we need, because when you show to that employee that your company has defined the step 1, step 2, step 3, and when I go 1, 2, 3, I get this result, the people also get their own ownership. They understand what they are going to do, and they feel part of the company. They feel that they work give additional results to the company, so they try to give the extra mile.
All right. In your opinion, which industrial sector is leading the way in innovative HR practices, and also why?
Well, China's industries, or at least here in Mexico, the nearshoring bring many Chinese companies here in Mexico. And to be honest, they arrived to Mexico with their mind really open. They want to learn how the things are done here in Mexico, how Mexico works, how you need to recruit, how you need to pay to the people. They also are wary because they want to keep their own feeling, their own essence of working in from China. But Chinese industry are one of the biggest important innovating companies that are arriving here, talking about communication, human resource system, labor relationships. They are in this process involved. Also, the technology companies, and these companies are more focused in benefits and compensation. Because when you talk in technology companies, you can think in two companies. Companies like Dell that has big story around the world, or new companies that we can say that are the unicorns, that are the startups. Here they need to understand that the benefits and compensation need to be innovated. Many of these companies, like the startups, put a lot of money to the employees, give big salaries, but for the short time, it's correctly. But when you look for a company in a long term, you cannot have biggest salaries because a salary is the biggest cost of each company. So when the people start getting out of this company, getting fired of this company, is because they do not create a correct compensation and benefit strategy for 5 years. So they also need to be involved in this innovation. But to be honest, I hope that all industries be part of the innovation. If you do not innovate, you lose. But you need to understand that innovation is not something related to the continuous change. You're not going to change everything. Innovation is making easier the things, make efficient the things, and doing things that you never think that you can do it before. You make the question, what happens if we change this part? So many people think that innovation it's like a fashion mode, that all the companies need to be great innovating process. No, you just need to think in which part you want to innovate. And the innovation, it's you choose one topic and you go until you change this topic. And then you find another topic process to make the innovation. So also, I recommend to all our audience to take care about the innovation. Innovation, it's good, but it's not everything and it's not in all the moments.
Yeah, it's something that you have to do step by step and not just a big change out of nowhere. Um, so yeah, let's talk about culture. So you have been instrumental in managing company culture. Actually, you mentioned the Chinese culture. So you have been bridging the gap between the headquarters that are in China and the regional offices that you have in Mexico. So how do you ensure a cohesive culture across different geographical and cultural landscapes?
Well, with international language, the numbers. You cannot create a culture if you do not say to the people where we want to be, what is our strategy. And when you talk with the people, the words can be really uh, subjective. You need to be more numerical. You need to explain to the people with numbers. So with international language that I call numbers, human resource need to help the direct board, our general managers, to explain and share the objectives of the company in two ways. The first one is with a dashboard of first level and show the employees the general objectives and then define the objectives of second, third, and fourth level if it's needed at fourth level, obviously. Then define the objectives. I like to use the SMART model. I know that exists another kind of models to set up different kind of objectives, but I prefer in this case work with the common SMART model. After that, schedule meetings to show global results, schedule meetings of one-to-one with other people, take care of the employees as an individual, including their family, including their needs, including their questions. Also explain the core business. You need to create to the people the explication of why we exist, why this company exists, what they want to reach. Support the ownership. Here to all the people. Every people can have good ideas, can help to the innovation, can help to us to the continuous improvement. So support the ownership. Create our own language. For example, Starbucks, Walmart are really good example of two big companies that create their own language. They have their own process. When you work there, you understand perfectly what they mean with colleague, what they mean with partner. These general ideas help to create a program of company ambassadors. I think that the best way that we can create a culture is to create company ambassadors. Remember the golden circle of Simon Sinek. We need to explain the why to the employees. So when we share these parts, we create a culture. But the biggest thing that we need to do is to define the process about how we are going to involve our general managers, our general leaders, because to create a culture starts from the top and then goes down. So we need also to be sure that our leaders want to be part of this culture, about this creation process. And if they are not going to be part of this, we are going to have some kind of problems to do it.
Okay. Actually, you answer my next question, so I will I will I will skip that question. So from your experience, how does the culture in the milling sector differ from that in the pharmaceutical sector? And how do you adapt your HR strategy accordingly?
Well, for example, here the milling process, you have a understand about all the process because here we have manufacturing process. So you see how the principal product arrive to the factory and start the process of production, change, and at the end deliver. So you see the value change since from the beginning to the end. In the pharmaceutical company, it's a little bit different because you only see the product when they arrive to Mexico. You do not be part of the process, of the value chain process. So it was quite difficult in two ways. The first part is because the milling company has many departments: selling, marketing, production, quality, safety, um, finance, a lot. And in the pharmaceutical, we have only marketing, finance or general administration, and sales. So what I start understanding is to talk with the people. So when I arrived, my first 2 months was really complicated because I bring my dashboards and I bring my process and I want to bring my own vendors to start set up the company. But I start see that the people they do not feel that was um, an additional activity, you know. So what I define, I start talking with the people. I create a one by one to all the employees, and I create a open survey. So I start asking what they want for human resource, what are the needs, why they think that a human resource department need to exist during the company, inside the company, and not outside the company. And during that kind of interviews, I start understanding that before to create any kind of strategy, you need to understand the new place that you arrive. And when I start thinking that, I understand that when you work a lot, and when I say a lot, when you work a lot in the same company, when you do not rest on your time, when you do not disconnect, sometimes you cannot put your brain down and continue with some kind of pressure. So what I understand is that the rest, the vacations, and to have additional activities can support to the human resource employee because you can also be fresh. After that, I start working more, giving class in my free time. I'm a teacher, so these kind of things support to me to create a good strategy in this way. I have my Lego pieces because I have my knowledge, I have my experience, but in each company, you need to change your Lego. Sometimes you're going to have a car, sometimes you're going to have a plane, sometimes you have a boat. You have the pieces of the Lego, but the design, the final design will be supported by two people. Your internal clients, that are all the people that works in your company, and the second one, your general manager or your board of managers that are going to explain to you the main objectives, the financial objective and the social objectives, and you human resource with your Lego, your pieces of Lego, you are going to create this new uh, way of work.
All right. So let's talk about recruitment.
Okay.
Recruitment often requires adapting to the unique needs of each role and industry. So, from your experience, what qualities do you prioritize when hiring for diverse roles across different sectors. For people that don't know, you have worked with even you are working right now with a company from China, but you also work with in a company with people from different regions.
Recruitment is the door to reach the results of the company. Because when you are in a hiring process, you're hiring two reasons. Reason one is a replacement because the employee needs to leave the company. Why? In this moment, I do not care. I know that he's going to leave the company, so it's a replacement. It's a position that works, that has activities, and that need to be inside the company as soon as possible. The second one, it's a new creation. And it's a new creation because the company has new projects, the company has new results to reach. We need to have more people that support the growing of the company. So the first thing that I like to do is involve to the general manager to create our job description. Because many times the people create a job description just saying, I need the people that know about finance, that speak English, that speak Chinese, and that came from one of the big fours. No. This is not the correct way. I'm going to ask you why. Why do you need these people? What is the activities that they are going to do? Why do you need that he's a finance and not an admin, for example? He needs to sign some kind of documents because now recruitment and selection process is just bring people to the company. No, that is why many of our recruiters are fear about the new tools about intelligence, artificial intelligence, because these new tools helps a lot to us when you create the correct information to the system, because that is true. When you say to the system, I need A, B, C, and D correctly, you get a correct candidate. So it's the same thing that we have doing year and year go back. So this is the first thing. The second thing is the soft skills. For me, the most important things are the soft skills, because the soft skills you can show to the people, but there are some soft skills that need to bring since the beginning into the company. And the soft skills are sometimes related with our competency dictionary. So also it's important to define here in our company, our competency dictionary, and define the level of understanding that we are going to find in the candidate. And finally, but not at least, the interesting to learn new things. In one of my companies, I used to bring the people from the competitor. And I found a problem of the salary that I also mentioned minutes ago. But the overall big problem is that they arrive, but thinking that they continue in the old company. So they used to say, oh, you have SAP here. I also have, but in my other company, SAP here work with just 2 commands. And here I need to write 6 commands, so your implementation was not so good. Oh, I came from your main competitor. You know, we have the same client, but we used to invite this client to our annual sales meeting to Cancun. You here do not do it in this way. So when we bring this kind of people, you bring another problem to the company. So you need to take care about the soft skills, about the competencies. And then you go to find the people that came from the main competitor. I mean, it's not applied to all the positions, but from my point of view, need to be 80-20. 80 do not bring from the competitor, 20 bring for your competitor, you know?
Yeah, you need experienced people in the sector.
Yeah. Yeah, but sometimes experienced people you need also, because when you're talking business about business to business, all the business to business have the same structure. When you talk about public companies, they have the same structure. What is that thing? Remember, the language that in your company talk. So that is why it's important to make a correct analysis about our job descriptions. I also like to create some kind of, not psychologist test, more like a ability test, Excel test, English test, uh, these kind of activities.
Okay. So I guess every organization has its unique challenges in recruitment. So what's one of the most unique recruitment challenges that you have faced, and how do you solve it?
Well, in the milling process, you have the head milling. And the head milling, it's a position that understands perfectly how the wheat works, how many water you need to put, how many time of rest, um, how many process of cleaning you need to do it.
That's a very
Uh,
unique position.
it's a very unique position. In exists some specific universities that give this kind of knowledge. So one of the most big problem that we found was that we were out of this talent here in Mexico. The talent that we can bring for other companies was expensive, or also they were really happy in their actual company. So it was not so easy to bring to our positions. So what we start working it's in our internal recruitment process. Because when we talk about recruitment and selection, most of the people, including me, we think outside. Hey, outside it's our candidate. In that building, it's our new candidate. In the other country, it's our best candidate. No, recruitment and selection process also is inside your company.
Yeah, maybe you already have the employee.
Yeah, and it's not talking just in a common upgrade of position. It's do it a process open, create the rules, create the guidelines, create the behavior, so everyone can be part of this process of recruitment and selection. Maybe he's not a head milling. He knows more about milling than me or the other 16 candidates that I interview about production. So what I'm going to do, create the correct internal recruitment and selection process. So when I get this problem, the first one was quite easy because I found another guy from Guatemala. I bring here in Mexico, and the problem was solved. But then I need two more, three more. And I said, no, Guatemala will not give me all the candidates. Switzerland will be more complicated. So what I can do, internal recruitment and selection process. So you want to be internal, you want to be promoted, just follow these rules. I, as human resource department, I create my program of training and development. So I also give that correct information. And sometimes it's more financial. It's better, talking in financial statements, it's better to help to our internal people growing inside the company that brings someone outside. So in that process was how I solved the problem.
All right. So you actually mentioned some other countries. So recruitment stories can be um, very insightful. So can you share a moment from your recruitment journey that had a significant impact on your approach?
Yeah. Once time I need to set up a company in Colombia, a pharmaceutical company in Colombia, and it was really difficult to find the head of the sales department. So I start looking one candidate in LinkedIn, but it was really complicated to get a phone number because this candidate decided to take some months outside of work, so he closed the LinkedIn, so that part. It was really interesting because he lives in Colombia, but he's from Venezuela, no? And when I finally can contact him to invite to the process, to do the recruitment process, it was really friendly the interview because I can reach this candidate by another friend, that I hired here in Mexico that also came from Venezuela. So when you make the recruitment process, something that is important about this process is that you need to try to give all the time to the employees a feedback, a correct feedback, no matter if they are hired, not hired, because they leave you the doors open. And now the recruitment process also is mouth by mouth. So when I found this candidate that at the end we hired, he gave us excellent results. Once in one of my visits to Colombia, we were talking and I said, I cannot believe that I can found your phone number by a friend of mine here in Mexico from Venezuela. And he told me, yes, to be honest, if you do not get my number, I will continue in my in my year black, you know? So this is something also important about the recruitment and selection, that we do not have any kind of division, no matter in which country. I have interviews with headhunters from Thailand, from United States. You know, the recruitment process needs to be more open. That is something also that you need to take care about the people that you hire. People that do not it's that do not have fear to talk with another kind of people, because we are in a global movement for attraction new candidates.
All right. Let's talk about communication. So effective communication is key in HR. So how do you ensure clear and consistent communication, especially when setting up subsidiaries, like you mentioned, in different countries?
Yeah. Um, you know, when we talk about communication, we need to find uh, a neutral language. I mean, we need to avoid some kind of expression that are more clear in each country. For example, in one time I lived Mexico, Colombia, and Chile. The three countries speak Spanish, but each country has their own expression. For example, in Chile, they say tacos when you are in a traffic jam. For me, Mexico,
It's
tacos.
food.
It's food. It's food. So the first thing that you need to create is a neutral language of communication. The second, you need to get involved to these people. What we want to communicate, how we are going to do it. Because many times when you work in this kind of companies that you have your home, your country that manage the other two, sometimes they feel that we are an extension of Mexico. Oh, we're an extension of USA. Oh, we're an extension of Spain. No. What we need to create is a monthly, for example, I create a monthly newspaper talking about all the people. When we get a hiring, I share to the people, no matter in which country they live, hey, we have a new member. I try always to call the company just with a global name. For example, now the example is Chin. Chin, it's global. So for me, it's Chin. When I hire a new employee of Mexico, I say, we have a new employee in Chin. And I say this information to China. So this is the first thing that I like to work. The second thing is to define which kind of communication, because everything it's about levels. The first level, so what information need to be shared with all the employees? What information need to be shared with some kind of employees? Third level, what information it's only for one country? For example, our holidays need to be shared to all the countries, because when I look someone in Chile and they are in their annual leave, I need to understand. So I'm not going to send a mail because I know that they are in the holiday. So I respect to the people. That communication, for me, it's equal to respect. When you communicate correctly, you give your respect to your colleague, to the part of your company.
Okay. So talking about communication also with different countries, you have created departments from scratch in different countries. So what are the first steps that you take in establishing a robust communication framework for an organization?
A brainstorm. I invite to the heads of each country and we start talking about why we need to communicate, what we want to communicate, and how we are going to communicate. You know, in one basic data, we are the same company. No matter that you are in Santiago, no matter that you are in Bogota, no matter you're in Mexico City, we are just one same company. No matter you are in Shanghai, we are just in one company. So what we're going to communicate, how we are going to do this part. And something that is really important is to create a calendar about that communication that we're going to share. So I was mentioned that we create levels of communication and also we create a schedule of in what moment we are going to communicate the process. We need to show to the employees that is something that has a preparation, that we understand, that we make the correct planning, not just a quick mail that, Happy New Year, you know? I learned in this with the cinema. When you are waiting for a movie or when you're waiting for a series, you start getting the information, the spots. It's not just short spots, short information. But the people it's waiting. Oh, next movie. Oh, when we are going to go to the cinema. When I'm going to be in my streaming to see this new series. So something that I like to do in the part of the communication is create these spots that the people it's waiting more. And when you communicate to the people, you need to be like an doctor. You need to be really concrete, be really specific in the communication. You cannot say all the words. You cannot say each month, each week, the same communication. You need to be really smart when you send the spot. So that is how I create with the people, how we are going to reach these results to everyone.
Okay. So you mentioned that in your process you have the what, how, and where, but in HR, miscommunication can lead to significant challenges. So can you share an instance where effective communication turned into a potential HR crisis around?
The pandemic. uh, I remember perfectly January 2020. I returned from St. Louis, Missouri, because I went to a HR meeting. And when I was there, I was thinking that the COVID will arrive to Mexico, that this will affect to all the world. So in Mexico, the COVID or the COVID arrived formally in March 2020. So during the last 2 weeks of January and the three or 2 weeks of February, I start working a lot with the people about IT, with our safety departments, and with my communication department. So the first thing that I start working is that people will go to the house. So we need to say that all the computers work perfectly, that our computers work perfectly, our IT technology works perfect, our site it's working, that we are going to respect to the people, the money, the salaries, we're not going to. So we start preparing all these kind of activities. But what's the big problem? That in that time, I used to work in the manufacturing company. So I need to have many of the people working in the site. So at the same time, I was preparing all the information for the administration people, the sales people to go to their house. At the same time, I was preparing all the people that will stay in the office. So I prepared the information, the PPP process, the PPP equipment, the process, the temperature. I prepare everything. So when we received the notice that all the companies need to go to to their home, in that moment we were in the home 1 week before, and the people that continue working in the site 1 week before, they have all the protection and they feel safe. But the communication that we create was a communication that also involved to their family, because you can understand that the people that continue working in the site, their family was really nervous. So I also prepare the communication. I give the explication about insurance. I give the implication. I create a lot of process about templates, meetings, letters, electronic letters. So I give all the information with the same language. And this was to all Mexico, because that company has around 7, 8 sites in all Mexico. So the process was the same. Why was the same? Because if Mexico do something different of Monterrey, I will have problems. And the communication statements help to us to say the same information and to act in the same way.
All right. So that was it for today. Thank you, Teodoro, for all your insights. We really appreciate all the information that you share with us. I don't know if you have any advice that you want to share for future HR managers.
Yeah, well, first, thanks for the time. It's really it's a pleasure to speak, to share a little bit about my experience. The first thing is human resource need to study, need to prepare, need to be trained day by day, because we work with people and no one is the same, no matter the company, no matter the country. The second suggestion is we need to be more friendly. We need to understand that human resource do not know everything, that we are just a specific member that can support to the company, but we need to be part of the board. And final but not least, human resource colleagues need to learn more about numbers, need to be more finance, because now human resource is moving to become a department that speak more about financial statements, my payroll, the cost, the revenue, how it impacts. So my final suggestion to all the audience that hear this podcast is try to understand more about numbers, because it's something that human resource sometimes do not understand 100%. And that's all, Manuel. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your opportunity, and hope to keep in touch.
All right. Thank you.